I am your host, Coach Charlene, and I am excited to be celebrating 1 year of podcasting. So I want to, first of all, thank you to all of the listeners, and please start sharing the podcast with others that you think it would benefit. But today I wanted to talk about just some of the lessons that I learned throughout this whole span of, having a concept, having a dream, a vision, or an idea, and then actually doing something about it. I wanted to just cover just a little bit about what happened with me, with podcasting in particular, and really with any dream that you have in your heart. If you have a dream in your heart, nothing really happens without vision or a dream. It all starts with a thought. And so you have to be able to conceive a vision of what it is that you believe that you are supposed to contribute to humanity. If you can't see it on the inside, then you cannot have it on the outside. So that's why it's so important for you to dream. Many of us can't dream because we're so overwhelmed and overburdened with the mundane task of everyday life. But if you can get yourself in a place where you can begin to start dreaming again, then you will be able to see things that are actually beyond your eyes. That is really the key. You want to be able to see beyond your eyes because your current conditions perhaps are showing you things that are contrary to what you believe in your heart that you want to do. I was thinking about an example with the story of Disney when Disney was created, and he did not get a chance to see Disneyland or Disney, but he actually really did, because when they were honoring his wife, when they opened up the Magic Mountain and all of the wonderful things that he did, there was a young person that said, man, it's too bad that he didn't get a chance to see this beautiful Disney. I'm just going to say Disney and all of its beauty. And his wife looked at the young man and she said, you know what? He actually saw it before you saw it. Because, see, he saw it on the inside, and then he was able to manifest it on the outside. See, that's what dreaming is all about. I, as a visionary of my dream, I see it on the inside, whether that's a book, whether it's a building, whether it's a product, whether it's a business. I mean, whatever it is for you, you see that on the inside. You dream about it. You daydream about it. You may dream about it at night. Whatever it is, you get a vision on the inside of something that you want to contribute to, something that you want to change, something that you want, you feel you have been called to actually disrupt or transform, perhaps. So you're able to see that, and then you begin to start taking the steps and the actions toward manifesting that dream that you see on the inside. But until you can see it on the inside, you will not have it on the outside. Okay, now you have your dream. Okay, great. I have the podcast. Now what? You have to be able to have the discipline to keep moving in spite of all of the obstacles that you will face, because you will face obstacles. And this is important to make sure that you can see your dream on the inside, and that you know that this is something that you're supposed to be doing. A few podcasts before, I talked about the stages of commitment. You have to be able to commit to the dream that you have in your heart. That means that you commit so much so that if you get 1,000 no's, you still continue to persist in the midst of that. So to be able to persist when it doesn't look like it's going to work, to keep moving even when you're discouraged, to keep dreaming even when you don't have the finances perhaps to buy the building, to launch the product, or whatever it is, you have to keep believing in your own dream, because your vision will be tested for its authenticity. I heard that a long time ago. I believe it was Dr. Miles Monroe that mentioned that vision on the inside of you, it will be tested. Do you truly believe in the vision in your heart? Do you believe that you were called to write this book or to make this change or to transform a region? Do you believe that on the inside? Well, if you believe it on the inside, no matter how many times you get knocked down, you will rise up and you will keep persisting and pressing through those barriers that keep coming your way. And so it's so important for you to know that it will be tested. Everything is not going to be peaches and cream, a bed of roses. Matter of fact, when you finally figure out what you're called to do and you begin to start moving toward it, that's where it's going to feel like you have the most opposition. Even the opposition within yourself, that enemy within will begin to start talking you out of doing what you know is in your heart to do, or the inner critic, or your comfort zone, whichever one will begin to start trying to overwhelm you so that you can't move into the dream that you have in your heart, or write the book, or speak at the conference, or whatever it is that you believe that you've been gifted to do. And so make sure that you have the discipline to be able to persist in the midst of adversity. I talked to you guys some time ago by Ken Blanchard's definition of full steam ahead. And it says something like being fully committed and fully persuaded in the midst of all of the different obstacles. You have to believe that you were the one that were called to create this product, that were called to make this change, that were called to disrupt whatever it is that you're disrupting. You were the one that called. You believe in your own significance. That is so critical for you to believe in your own significance. So have that discipline to persist in the midst of barriers. And then I would say the last one that I would love to share with you is, well, you have to believe in the dark, what he showed you in the light. This vision that you had that came in, you have to believe in the dark times, what he showed you in the light. That's Corey ten Boom. You have to be able to keep your vision alive, see beyond your eyes. Believe even in the midst of the challenges that you face, even in the midst of it might be a divorce, or it might be you losing money or getting fired, whatever that, can you believe in the dark what he told you in the light when everything was going well, when you were feeling good? When you're feeling like, okay, cool, I'm showing up, I'm feeling pretty good, I'm owning my brilliance. I'm talking about in the dark times when things are not going well, when you're not feeling adequate, when you're not feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't do this, I'm overwhelmed. Can you still believe in the dark what he showed you in the light? Very important to be able to do that with anything that's significant. You have to be able to keep pushing and moving toward your vision that you see on the inside, because you are the visionary of your vision. So you have to run with it before anybody else will. And that really will tell you if you really know that you've been called to do something, because you keep doing it in the midst of the rejection, in the midst of nobody being a part of it, in the midst you keep going regardless. And this is so critical. I was talking to one of my friends, and she was we were talking about hosting events and things like that. And sometimes when you host an event, you may not necessarily have people show up. All of the people that you thought needed this product or needed this service or needed this education, they may not show up. But guess what? You have to keep on doing it as if thousands of people have showed up. Me and my husband, we ministered together, and we would host events. And it may be sometimes in the beginning phases, it was only a couple people that came. But you know what? We still treated it as if we were speaking to an audience of 10,000. That's how much you have to know that what you're doing is what you're supposed to be doing, that you're called to it, that you have the ability to fight for that thing that you know that you were called to do. So those are my 3 tips for you today. You have to be able to see it on the inside. The second one is you have to have the discipline to persist even in the midst of the barriers. And the third one, you have to believe in the dark what he shows you in the light. Happy dreaming, everybody. I want you to dream. I want you to dream big. Why not? Let's take the limitations off and begin to start doing those things that I believe that we were created to do, because there's so much work that needs to be done with humanity. We have so many challenges. And if you can get the dream in your heart that I believe that you were destined to have, and then start walking toward that and actually allow us to see it on the outside. I mean, just like now, this podcast, I saw it on the inside first, but now you see it because I was able to do it. Even in the midst of all the barriers, even in the midst of all the challenges, I was able to do it. Even when I was like, oh my gosh, who's going to come on the show? Oh my God, can I really do this? Who's going to listen to me? You know, all of those self-limiting beliefs and all of those behaviors that happen to us when we finally say yes to our calling, yes to our heart projects, yes to what we know that we were born to contribute to humanity. So I hope that you enjoyed this short little segment just to give you a little push. You guys, I'm a coach and I love to push people. I love to inspire you to do more than you're doing now, especially if you're discontented, especially if you have unrest on the inside of you, especially if you're burnt out from what you're doing right now. You have to get to the place where you start moving toward those areas in your life that bring you joy, that bring you meaning, that gives you fulfillment, that fills your life with goodness. So thank you so much. I would love for you to like and share this message with anybody that needs to be inspired today. And I also want to thank you again for being a part of this When the Moment Chooses You podcast. And so I'd like to invite anybody that has a story that you think would fit on my particular podcast. Remember, this whole platform is for trailblazers and change agents that dare to dream, that dare to disrupt the status quo. I want those kind of stories on here because I believe that your voice has power. Your story makes a difference in someone else's life. And until you tell your story, we won't know who it was called to impact. So I'm opening it up. I'm going to put a link in my description. If you want to be a guest on my podcast, you can just sign up there, complete the application, and I will see you on the show. And you have a great day.